What's happening, guys? Welcome into another boxing breakdown and prediction show for this weekend's fight between the monster himself, Naoya Inoue, and challenger Michael Dasmarinas for Inoue's IBF and WBA bantamweight belts. So let's get into it now. In case you still haven't heard, arguably this weekend's biggest fight between unified lightweight champ Teofimo Lopez and undefeated Australian Spartan himself, George Kambosos, over in Triller was pulled due to Lopez testing positive for COVID-19. That's since been rescheduled now for August 14th. So we'll do a proper breakdown and prediction show for that fight down the road. Now, in terms of this weekend, Jamal Charlo was taking on Juan Montiel over in Texas on the Showtime card. The main event in that one, is garnering a lot of hate from the boxing press and public, for its seeming lack of competitiveness. So much so, in fact, that Charlo himself has publicly felt the need to come out and defend the choice of opponent for this weekend. Montiel has 22 knockouts in 22 fights. It is impressive on paper. Absolutely ran through a badly faded James Corkland in just a round back in December as well. But, I'm not sure myself that should be enough to elevate you to mandatory challenger here as the WBC and WBA continue to mess around with this middleweight title. As we saw last month with Erislandy Lara and Cornflake Lamana being promoted to world title status also. Charlo, just to highlight, is going off at a ridiculous minus 5,000 in this one. And, it's a real shame, to be honest. I thought Charlo arguably put in one of the finest performances of the entire year in 2020 when he lopsidedly beat an excellent Sergey Deverchenko, a guy who arguably beat both Danny Jacobs and definitely Triple G. So, that was incredibly impressive. And a lot of people, including myself, were hoping he would kick on from that fight and start to unify. However, here we are. And while the main event may be somewhat of a disappointment, at least the undercard is pretty good. We've got Isaac Cruz taking on Francisco Vargas and Angelo Lee going up against Aaron Alameda, and what should be no doubt be the best fight of the night down in Texas. Turn over the ESPN Top Rank card in Las Vegas. As we said previously, Naoya Inoue takes on Filipino Michael Dasmarinas. Now, Dasmarinas comes into this one off a 30-2 record, 20 knockouts, but he hasn't faced anyone, obviously, the caliber of Inoue so far in his career, and the prohibitive 1-25 odds on the Japanese fighter reflect this. Again, like Charlo, Inoue is a fighter who climbed the summit of the mountain, became the baddest man in the division, arguably in all of boxing, and is now saddled with these kind of nobody sanctioning body type of opponents. I think everyone wanted the Casemiro fight to come off for Inoue, obviously. That seems to have evaporated for him, at least for the time being. And Inoue now is a promoter, and Bob Arum, who seems to have little to no direction for the Japanese fighter. Look, boxing fans understand when you have a guy like Canelo who commits to fighting 4 times a year that there will no doubt be down opponents. That's fine. I had absolutely no problem with Canelo fighting Avni Yildirim back in February, especially when he sandwiches that just a few months in between high-level unification fights against Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. But, to have one fight in almost 2 years for Inoue, one of them being Dasmarinas, and then Charlo fighting a relatively unknown Montiel a full 9 months after you've had the best win of your career, I'm not on board with that at all. On the undercard of Naoya Inoue and Michael Dasmarinas' main event, at least, is what should be a very good fight between Adam Lopez and former WBO junior featherweight champion Isaac Dogboe at featherweight. The clash of styles here should mesh for a really good fight, in my opinion, on Saturday. Lopez generally likes to pot shot from the outside. He is a bit of a sharpshooter, and he places those shots incredibly well. So I actually expect him to start the better of these two on Saturday night. But, Dogboe, should I say, put so much pressure on from the get-go. He does look to pour forward on the inside, put his shots together, high volume, work to the body. Jesse Magdaleno, an extremely high-level technician, in my opinion, simply couldn't keep Dogboe off him in their fight. And I think we're going to see a similar thing play out here on Saturday. Lopez takes a few of the earlier rounds, in my opinion, before Dogboe starts picking up momentum through that high-volume, aggressive style of his. And, eventually, in my opinion, ends up taking a decision on the scorecards. It is only a 10-round fight, so I don't think we see a stoppage here. I think Valdez cracks a lot harder than Dogboe does, so I think this fight likely goes the distance, but I do like Dogboe to edge it in what should be a great matchup over on ESPN in Las Vegas this weekend. The DAZN card over in El Paso also has some fun fights. Jaime Munguia is headlining against former Triple G opponent Kamil Cesar-Meta. I don't expect that one to go the distance either. While former Olympian Bektemir Melikuziev takes on the always game Gabe Rosado in what should be another entertaining fight in that card also. Packed weekend for boxing, but that'll be it for this weekend. Anyway, free play for this weekend's fights again is Isaac Dogboe via technical decision at plus 162 on Saturday. And we also have a 4-pack up of plays for this weekend's cards as well, prop packs. So heading over to WagerTalk to pick up that. That'll wrap things up for this week. As always, leave us your thoughts. You can also catch me over on Twitter at SportsWolf83 and at my handicapper page, Kevin Dolan, over at WagerTalk. As always, thanks for listening. Until next time, Slán